Segment is sponsored by Gaston County.
Live at 5, we're on your side looking into the ongoing opioid crisis in Gaston County.
And while tools like Narcan are vital, sometimes the most powerful prevention starts with a simple conversation.
QC Live host Jana Angel sat down with a father-daughter duo to talk about the power of open communication.
So thank you both for joining me today. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah.
I want to start with you, Koji, because we're, as part of a council that is bringing together young people to actually have these conversations about what opioids are doing to this generation, to the generation before you. Walk me through how you got involved with this.
My school posted about it, and they also had the tables that would show up at our school. And then I was part of a program called Commissioner School of Excellence, and they came and talked to us there about it as well, and that was like when I knew I wanted to apply.
You talked about the use of Narcan and how you've seen that an increase in the prescription. So when you have these conversations outside of your office with your daughter, how did you guys form a relationship that was comfortable talking about the realities of opioids?
Lots of people use like outside drug as well and misusing it, and they are killing themselves using drugs like fentanyl. It's a big deal right now. So I have so many opioid patients. They are getting pain medicine for either cancer, terminally ill patient, or pain and stuff. So we always prescribe them Narcan. I mean, it's a state protocol, so we don't require prescriptions. There is a protocol doctor from the North Carolina state. We gave them Narcan. So if any kind of overdose happen in their family, they can use, and it's a life-saving drug. So they save their life.
Substance use, it's getting crazy, especially in people in my generation. And Narcan is basically just the same thing as knowing CPR.
That was Jana Angel reporting. You can find her full report right now on WBTV.com or the free WBTV News app. Now, this is all part of our special coverage following Gaston County's fight against the opioid crisis. Tomorrow, we're on your side with even more special coverage of Gaston County's Day of Action. Jana Angel and WBTV anchor Alex Giles will have special live coverage from Gaston County tomorrow. They'll be with Gaston County EMS workers raising awareness about the dangers of opioids and the hope for life on the other side of addiction. You can scan this QR code on your screen right now to find out more, or simply go to WBTV.com or the free WBTV News app.